What's going on? It's Ed here from Geek, back with another Google Ads Agency Roundtable. What's up, Nick? What's up, Mark?
Hey, how you doing, man?
Mark's back from the grave.
Mark is back, yes.
Where's our buddy Dustin, though?
He's out flexing.
He's out shopping for tank tops, is what he said.
Yes.
The summer series has come out, so he's deep into that.
So, Mark, you had a topic you wanted to cover today, so why don't you fire away? What do you got?
Okay, well, I've been talking to a number of newer agencies, newer in the sense that they haven't been around that long, and new in the sense that they haven't offered Google Ads to their clients. And the advice that I have for these folks, I actually just shot a video on this, is if you're new at Google Ads, especially if you're using a white label company or another company to do the outsourcing for you, don't target the hardest single niches in Google Ads. Start with low-hanging fruit. So the low-hanging fruit are all the local service businesses and the roofers and the landscapers and pool people and things like that. Target that, learn the system, get some results for some clients before you go after what I call the tough ones. And you guys might have some other ideas about which ones are tough, but anything that requires you to get certified from Google, which would be locksmiths, which you probably don't want to do anyway, garage door stuff, anything pharmaceutical, Botox, anything that requires injections, anything that requires medical stuff, because you're going to have to get certified. And even if you get certified, you can have one wrong word on your landing page or website, and all of a sudden your ads are down and you've got a new client you're working with for the first time, and you're trying to explain to them why they just paid and their ads aren't running, and you have to jump, and you can jump through multiple hoops. If Google doesn't like something on your lander, they're not going to tell you what they don't like. They're going to say, you violated a policy. Boom, here's the policy. And then you got to figure it out, try to change something, resubmit it. And I guess the same thing would be true if you dove into e-commerce. That's a difficult one, but especially if you're going after anything, how do you say, naturopathic or anything like that, where it's borderline for Google.
Yep.
The advice is go after the easy stuff. Do you guys have any niches you recommend new agencies stay away from?
Let me go, Ed.
Yeah, go for it.
I've got an amazing, the term we like to game changer, life hack for you, right? Go to Google LSA and pick one of those. Honestly, like if you really want to level up fast, wrap your mind around Google LSA. There's actually not any work in it. We don't charge our clients for Google LSA work in the retail, in the real estate area, in that space, but it's a great way. There's a lot of people that need help working in that, need help doing that. So, and it's also a very quick and efficient way to pick up leads for your clients, right? So getting them up on Google LSAs, and then starting to build your business off of that, starting to do branding ads for that business because you're getting them leads, right away through LSA. I would go and look honestly at the entire list that's available in your area or in the US or Canada if you're in there. And start to pick niches in that, ones that you can relate to. I think it also helps if you pick a niche that you have a little bit of understanding in. I didn't really understand real estate. I have a much bigger, broader understanding of real estate. I understood construction back in the day when I first started. But if you mowed lawns when you were a kid, go to landscape, right? Because you understand this, you understand their struggles. If you helped paint, if you were a painter, if you helped construction, if you did, any kind of odd jobs you did like that, that gives you a little bit of insight into their world and their language that will help you connect with them. But yeah, I think lowest hanging fruit would be Google LSA stuff.
I agree. And I also like the idea of working in niches that offer Google LSAs. So it's like, what niches do I work in? Go look up all the niches that LSA, local service ad, anything that has a local service ad would be a niche that would be a good place to start in, because they're lead buyers, they're actively searching to grow their business or trying to grow their business. Start in those niches. I'd stay away from attorneys. I'd stay away from doctors. I'd stay away from insurance agents. I'd stay away from car dealerships. I'd stay away from e-commerce. I'd stay away from, like Mark said, any injectables, any supplements, which would be e-com.
Real estate.
I would probably stay away from real estate as well, just because it's less landing page and more website driven and more integrations on the back end to dynamically serve listings, or at least types of listings in market. So I would avoid that kind of stuff. and go simple blocking and tackling with local service niche, landing page, proper call tracking, conversion tracking, and just go simple blocking and tackling. You could have hundreds of clients in those niches because the three of us do, except for Nixon Real Estate. But you can have tons of clients in that and make really good money doing that. And that's where I would suggest starting.
Yeah. To sort of expand on that, the limitations that, like the ones that he said don't go into, there's reasons for that. Like lawyers, it is a brutal market to try to jump into. If you're not well versed in PPC, you're going to get destroyed. If you don't understand how to work with lawyers and attorneys' offices, you're going to get humbled pretty quick. With real estate, for us, the big limitation is like when we're doing consulting for other niches and other companies, is like they don't understand how big of a limitations and the rules are different for real estate with PPC because of equal housing and fair lending acts. So we've got limitations that there's a lot of levers we used to pull on. The government shut down. So now Google, Facebook, and Microsoft all have to play by these rules. It makes our job a lot harder. Again, if you're trying to jump into that niche, it makes it go to the one that's a lot easier to get into, that there aren't limitations. Anybody can run a roofing campaign, right? There's no limitations on that. You can be a storm chaser and run campaigns just in places where I had somebody tell me this, and I thought this was pretty cool, but essentially he would go and he would do a Google alert for hail damage or hailstorms throughout the country. And then he would start to pick up clients. So he would reach out to all those people and be like, hey, now's the time to try to pick up clients. Now that you've got you've got a hail damage in your area, run ads for that. I thought that was genius to pick up clients in. Now, I haven't heard from that gentleman in a long time, but my question would be, how's he maintaining those relationships and keeping them steadfast? But genius move. There's little things like that. Just go against the grain of what everybody else is doing and kind of be unique. What's your USP?
I think you made a really good point too when you said about if you had some construction background, look at that. If you had some landscaping background, look at that. I see people pick niches based on I don't even know how what criteria they're using, but it's like, I'm not saying you have to have a passion for the niche, but you should have some interest. It should be interesting to you. Don't go after PIs because you've heard they have big budgets or something. Go after something that at least you feel some relatability.
It's not private investigator. That would be, and Mark just left.
Mark, so that's
got mad about that.
Yeah.
PI, what PI means personal injury attorneys, not private investigators.
We'll see if Mark hops back in, but in the meantime, what would you say if someone was starting out brand new today? What would you say, or let me rephrase this. If you were starting over brand new again today, how would you go out and get your first 10 clients?
Wow. That's a tough one on the spot. How would I get my first 10 clients? So I'd go local. I'd do it within my market. I would try to figure out, and if I didn't have a niche, I would pick three or four different niches. And honestly, the way we kind of cut our teeth on it is we offered, and I don't know if this is right or wrong, we offered free work, right? So, hey, let me run this for a month for you for free. It's just going to cost you whatever your budget is. And then from there, once your budget is, once we spend that budget that first month, what's the value of that? What's that feel like? But if I was starting out and had to find 10 clients out of the gate, you could run ads for yourself too. That could be an opportunity to do it. I would jump into YouTube and start looking through YouTube on what people are doing. What's the hot topics of people looking for help with, and then try to make that connection. And it's good question, Ed. The other question is do you have funding? Did you just sell your old company and going to a new one? Are you flat broke, rock bottom?
Yep. So let's assume it's the latter. It's not broke, but broke-ish.
Yes.
So don't have a huge funding. What I would say, my take on it, Mark, just so you know the question before you decide to leave us, was if you were starting over from scratch and had to pick up your first 10 clients, how would you do it? My answer to that question would be joint ventures and direct mail. We're sending direct mail right now. We just mailed out another couple thousand. We like direct mail. We think it's effective. And I would lean into that. You would just need to figure out how much it costs you to acquire the new business. And I know that's unknown at this point, what you charge, all that stuff. To test it, start small. I would probably go so far. Mark's gone again.
Mark left. He didn't like that answer.
Yeah, he's out. I would probably go so far as to take the what do they call them by you? Like the Clipper magazine or the Clipper ads?
Oh yeah.
Clippers?
Yeah.
So it's like
at the grocery store.
Yeah, they come in the mail and they're usually like this size, and there's like 15 of them attached, and it's a book of coupons.
Yep.
What I do when I get those in the mail is I will typically roll through them and see what niches I like.
Super Saver, right?
Super Saver, any of those, yeah. And see who's spending money in those, because they cost money to be in those. What I'd like to do is rip those out, and I would send direct mail to those people because they're known advertisers in the market.
Yeah.
The next thing I would do is joint ventures. So if I had to start over again, I would likely find other agencies and offer white label services just to get rolling. Because at that point, you likely don't have infrastructure costs. You don't have to get a landing page software and call tracking. The agency would likely have all of that.
Yep.
If not, you could kind of piece together a solution. But that's probably where I would start in the immediate term in order to pick up a handful, 10 clients to get rolling.
Yeah. Yeah, that's smart, man. I love the idea of the Super Saver, like coupon, like in the really big thing that you said there that I think is a massive thing to point out is they have a budget. They're spending money in marketing. So they see the value, or they're testing the value in marketing, and honestly calling them up and being like, hey, how's your Super Saver working for you? Yep. Like, and just opening that conversation up. Like, I was having a call with another one of my clients. I noticed you're in town here, and you're doing landscape, and you're in that Super Saver for, free quote. My client was thinking about doing that. What are you seeing on it? Because we can track everything for my client on Google, and we can track everything here, and here. I noticed you weren't using a QR code where you could probably track that. Are you guys tracking your online traffic? What kind of traffic? Opening that conversation up, giving them some tips on what you're seeing now. Is there a client that you're truly talking to and talking with? Probably, maybe not. I mean, it doesn't have to be.
Yep.
But if you understand what you're talking about, it's still valuable information.
Yeah, and what Nick just brought up was the idea of going and door knocking, showing up at their business, knocking on their door, and/or picking up the phone and cold calling them.
Yeah.
So if cold calling is something that scares the bejesus out of you, there's tons of videos on the channel about it. There's tons of video on YouTube about it. There's a guy named Ricky Caruth in the real estate space that has hundreds of hours of him just cold calling homeowners and just talking with them. So you can build up the mental muscle. You can develop the callus to get comfortable with doing it. Yep. And I know people that have made fortunes with cold calling. So it is also something I'd throw into the mix as well. Right. Mark, if you decide to leave us, or before you decide to leave us again. Oh, by the way, before I go on any further, I would like to say Mark looks wonderful. Mark's down 30 pounds and is looking great. Looks svelte and younger. Yep. And I just want to say congratulations, man. You look great.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. And I've learned that don't turn the switch off that powers your laptop. I didn't know that was the light switch over there turned this outlet.
Yeah, that's
I just found out today.
Nice. All right, so picture you're starting over right now. How do you get your first 10 clients?
I think the one thing, there's short-term and long-term plays, but you got to get clients. So I think you have to do things you talked about. I think you have to call people in your local area. And I think it's important to, if you're in, well, here's a couple of things. If you're in like Greensboro, North Carolina, join some lead groups, get out there. I think it gives you a little credibility. If you're local, it's a little bit harder. If you're saying I'm the roofing guy and you're calling companies all over the world and you have no roofing experience, get your foot in the door. That's something I've done before. Be prepared when you go into a leads group or something like that, BNI or whatever, and you say, I do Google AdWords or whatever it is, because they're just going to hear, oh, that's a web guy, and they'll come up and try to get you to fix their website or something. So be very, just be clear about what you do. That's one way. Knock on a lot of doors. I like your idea, Ed, really of the direct mail, because no one does direct mail anymore. Your mailbox isn't cluttered up like it used to be. I would say long term, you do want to, if you know your niche, create a YouTube channel, start cold emailing, but have something of substance to offer. You're going to have a good offer, and you're probably going to have good pricing. It doesn't matter because you're not having a business yet. So offer some good pricing, get some case studies, lean on if you're using a white label provider, lean on them for credibility.
Yep.
Like everybody wants a case study and they're valuable and interesting, but really what you need to be able to do is sell your process. I think that's what I sell all the time to places I don't have a specific case study for. We sell the process. We know what we're doing. So sell our credibility, or Ed's or Nick's or whoever's, if that's how you're doing it. Those are some things, but and then you got to grind, man. It's not going to be fun at first. Try not to take on the shitty clients. You'll probably have to.
Yeah.
Got it. All right.
Got to crack a few eggs to make an omelet, right?
Exactly.
We're gonna end on that note because I'm afraid that Mark's gonna hang up on us again. I think that caps out a good how to start a PPC agency or niches to target approach. And Mark, you nailed something there. You got to be aggressive. You're on the outbound. You're in the starting mode, and you're life or death. So you got to get out there, and all the luxuries of inbound are luxuries. They come after the fact. Once you've got the ball rolling and creating momentum.
Can I say something else that they do? I see people do all the time when they're new agencies. Is they freaking over focus on getting all their processes right. They talk to me and they're like, exactly what happens then, and what's this, and how do I do this? And then they want to. It's okay to have your processes right, but the problem is, no matter what you do, you're not going to have your processes right.
Yep.
Create some processes. Get the blank busy selling because you need money. Your processes you'll figure out. Lean on our processes. Set some basic processes. You're not going to have them right anyway. So just be flexible and adjust, but don't spend all your time trying to create the perfect marketing machine. We all did that at the beginning.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah. You need to become the ultimate sales machine. You're out selling, getting a business off the ground. You're not a reflexive.
You're not a PPC manager. You're not like a lot of people think they're a PPC manager. You're not.
You're a business owner.
Yeah.
So you got to get out there, own the business, generate the business, get the phone ringing.
Yep.
And then you deliver your service after the fact. If you want to just be a PPC manager, go get a job.
Right.
Yeah, if you know PPC really well and you have to pay the bills, do some consulting while you're building up your agency. There's nothing wrong with making, $100 an hour doing consulting, but that's not going to build your agency.
Yep. Well, and the other thing I would say is people would kill to get $100 an hour consulting gigs. The issue is how do you get those consulting gigs? How do you build up the reputation that people would want to pay you that to have that as an opportunity? It could be Upwork, it could be your LinkedIn profile, but the reality is it's going to come from you marketing a skill set and talking with humans. That's the biggest thing. If it had to be one thing, it'd be talk to qualified people that do what it is that you want to, work with. Find out who they are, talk to them. More of them you talk to, the more opportunities you have.
You keep saying something that comes up: talking, calling, speaking, communicating. That is soon to be a lost art. I have 2 phones. That's how much I communicate. People, you want to be successful, own 3 phones. But no, you have to you have to be on the phone. You have to communicate, whether that's a Zoom, whether it's a phone call. Too often we've got people that are trying to build these giant businesses, and we see it in our group too. There's people I'm going to build this giant business. I'm going to have all white label stuff. I'll never have to talk to the client. I'm never going to have to do this. That is not sustainable. You have to, if you don't talk to your clients, guess who is? I am.
That's what I've noticed a lot of disdain in the marketing space for sales.
Yeah.
It's funny because, there's this people looking down their nose at sales. You have to sell.
Right.
Let there be no doubt about it. You have to sell. And salespeople lie a lot less than marketers do. Watch any commercial tonight.
Right.
And that deodorant will not immediately attract beautiful women
No.
to you.
What?
So you have to be a lot more honest in sales because you're going to have to deal with that person again. That's why I try to just share as much information as possible. Be honest. If you're just starting out, you can tell people I'm just starting out. That's why my rates are so good. Create a story for yourself.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
And Nick mentioned earlier, if you needed to create that credibility, if not to help yourself, your own mentality internally, to build up that case study, do the work for free on the first one, just so you can have something to lean on as a case study.
Yep.
There's that as well, but you don't necessarily need to do that. There are plenty of people that don't do that. It's talking to people. It's the name of the game. If you want to cross over to the dark side from being an employee to an entrepreneur, to a business owner, you got to talk. You got to be able to talk to people. There are no successful entrepreneurs that don't talk to people. There are exceptions to every rule. There are coders out there that have built this ultimate machine that does X, Y, Z. But for the most part, when you're in a service-based business, it's talking to people, getting
And don't overdo your logo. Don't overdo your website. Nobody cares about your website.
Mm-hmm.
Make it functional. Make it not look like, make sure it has your real business email and stuff like that. But don't kill yourself on that stuff. It doesn't matter.
I'd love to just have my website be a giant goddamn phone number. It's like, want to know how to be successful? Call here.
Yeah.
But if you want to see a website built, if you want to identify any website built purely by the marketing team, look at a website. And if you can't find the phone number, that was put by the marketing.
Right.
That's awesome.
But it's pretty. It looks great on a phone.
Yes, it does. It's very responsive.
Right.
Awesome. All right. Anything else you guys want to throw in?
I don't think so.
That's it for today. A nice short one. I'm stopping the recording now.